again, Happy New Year to you who are joining us on Newsnight, this second day of January 2014. Tonight, we discuss the political scene in 2014 here in Uganda. Not so long ago, Andrew did, of course, break the story of the rift between the Prime Minister and the President, as they both were looking forward to 2016, where the Prime Minister has said he will offer himself for the candidacy under the NRM Party ticket. And he did, of course, confirm that, saying the party will decide and he will only offer himself if the party decides. Tonight, we look at what else is on offer on the political scene here in Uganda. Joining me, Andrew Mwenda, CEO of the Independent Magazine, and also a journalist, but also a businessman here in the city, and again, the old man of the clan. Andrew, many thanks for joining us. Second day of 2014.
I'm happy the New Year has started with you recognizing that I'm the old man of the clan.
I always do that so we can save some time to rebut each other. Last year you did raise a key issue with the rift between the Prime Minister and the President. Not really a rift, but the ambition between the presidency and, of course, the Prime Minister for the same office. But also, we discussed the battles within Parliament, the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker, the battles between the Speaker and the Prime Minister, and the battles between the opposition and the presidency. But what do you foresee in 2014?
First, at a broader scale,
yes,
the trends I'm going to see, we're going to see the increasing radicalization of the opposition.
So because you say we'll see more protests on the streets of Kampala?
If not more protests, you see, I do not know whether they've been watching what is happening to the opposition. When Besigye declared his candidacy in 2001, he was a very moderate figure. He was saying we need to reform the NRM. Besigye had great appeal. And always remember that if you want to defeat Museveni, your primary constituency must be to break the NRM into two. And I'm going to say it may come by accident. You need to break NRM into two. That's why Besigye became a potent force. He was not from DP or UPC or CP. He came from inside the NRM and enjoyed the legitimacy of the struggle in Luwero. So by saying that this revolution has had mistakes which we need to reorder, Besigye appealed to very many progressive people in Uganda. But I think as a consequence of the beatings and the violence Museveni has meted against him, his family and his in-laws, Besigye himself has gotten embittered. And once you become angry, you lose a sense of perspective. So as Besigye became bitter, he also became belligerent and extremist. And now he has been appealing to the most fanatical haters of Museveni. Once you become very popular in that group, you are locked up in 10% of the country, 10% of the voting population. You may go and 30 people show up and they come and complain to you, things are bad, the world is falling apart, but they're always a minority. For me, I am always conscious of that. And for anyone to reconstruct politics from that radicalism, you will need to pick fights with that extremist group, which of course I do on this show, if only to appeal to the broader community of Ugandans who want to hear a sober and balanced debate. So, because of the consistent defeats that have been taking place to the opposition, many people have crossed over to the NRM out of frustration, others out of bribery, others out of cowardice. They have gone back to the NRM. So the opposition is losing numbers. It's losing numbers. How do you keep your members together? The opposition have adopted another method, blackmail. That blackmail, you have been bribed, you have been bribed, you have sold your soul. If your picture of 2000 meets the one of 2010, they will fight. All these arguments, but please don't buy them. They are used as an instrument of blackmail to force you to adopt that same extremist line. And I hope that Besigye stands above that. And let me tell you, but also as a result of the radicalization of the opposition, and the radicalization of the opposition has led to its weakening, and that is going to continue in 2014. So what is the salvation? Once you have a very weak opposition, then that allows submerged tensions within the NRM, the dominant party, to emerge. And that's what we're beginning to see. That because the NRM is now safe and secure from any external threat, its own internal contradictions are coming to the fore. They are coming to the front yard. And I can tell you, you're going to see the rift between Museveni and Mbabazi increase. It's very likely that in 2014 there will be a cabinet reshuffle. It's very likely Mbabazi will be out of the job of Prime Minister and even out of government. It's also very likely that there's going to be a battle inside NRM and Mbabazi will lose that battle. And if Mbabazi loses, remember he has a lot of political clout, it is possible that Mbabazi may fall from a third force. I don't know how he'll construct the politics of that third force, because this country needs an opposition to the NRM that is much more enlightened, that is much more emotionally detached from the situation, and is therefore able to sound conciliatory, that is able to build its legitimacy on what it plans to do rather than what Museveni has failed to do. And I think if that opposition emerges, whether it's under the leadership of Amama Mbabazi or under the leadership of Muntu, whoever leads it and takes that much more moderate and progressive and tolerant position, it will become a very potent opposition. So this is the year 2014 when we should be able to see the building blocks of a much more viable and reasonable opposition. And I hope it also becomes the year when Besigye ceases to be the most potent representation of an argument against Museveni. Andrew,
you seem to always assume that Mbabazi and his link to the NRM is micro. Having interacted with him and spoken to him a couple of times, he has a strong and passionate view on the NRM, and he is very passionate about his party, and he loves his party, and he's
so he will form NRM, or he will form NRMX.
So it would still be the NRM you're saying, but a different faction.
Whatever he calls it, it may reflect that.
I highly doubt that he would actually move out of the party. That he might cede his ambition to actually continue serving the party.
Oh, I agree with you. The other scenario, of course, is that he looks on the scene. Either President Museveni feels perhaps tired, weak, or whatever it is, and says, I'm leaving, in which case he allows internal contestation. Let me tell you, if President Museveni says he's leaving,
yes,
and he's not going to try in 2016, who will be the front runners? Immediately, Mbabazi will become the front runner to replace Museveni in the party, because he has a very strong base of support there. The problem I see with Mbabazi is that he has had a lot of fights with many senior leaders of the NRM. If Museveni is leaving, people like Kenya will stay. Then you have people like Otafire, people like Kiyonga, people like Muntu, Muhwezi, people like Pasaja Balaba, and all other senior pillars of the NRM. They are afraid of Mbabazi. With the exception of Rugunda, many of them, including from his own home village of Kanungu, people like Chris Bariomus, people like Henry Banyanza, who comes from Kabale, they will gang against him. Tell me, around whom can they rally? What can be the center of gravity on which they can unite to defeat Mbabazi?
I know we've discussed that.
It will be Janet Museveni.
We've discussed that.
It will be Janet Museveni.
Yes.
And once Janet Museveni enters that race, I tell you, people here in Uganda underestimate the power of the Museveni brand. They underestimate the power of her personality and passion. They underestimate the power of the evangelical vote, which is on her side,
I know you've said
and the power of the women vote.
Yes, Andrew, but let's not losing
so
that
2014
debate.
may see, let me show you like this.
Are you telling us that in
2014
2014 we'll actually then see who might, and we're hoping here that the president does say he will hang up his boots, but you're actually telling us in 2014 we'll get to see the true picture of how the ballot might look like in 2016.
2014 is the definitive year of the rift between the president and the prime minister. Either that rift escalates and there is a clear break.
Total fallout, yes.
It will have to happen in 2014. Or, because of Museveni's political brinkmanship, he's able to play his cards so well.
And keep Mbabazi closer.
Yes, because as you have seen, while there is a lot of tension, Museveni has not fired him from any of his jobs. And I'm sure Museveni, you know, if you challenge Museveni will not confront you oftentimes. Sometimes he may, but he may go around you. He will go around Mbabazi, keep him in the job, but cripple his ability to make anything until Mbabazi realizes that without Museveni's patronage, he cannot go anywhere. And if he breaks ranks, he's likely to suffer severe consequences. So Mbabazi may come back to the fold and forget his presidential ambitions. That is possible. That's one scenario. The other scenario is Mbabazi becomes much more emboldened, because I'm told he has a lot of money, which may most likely be false. But intelligence says he has money in China, he has money in Dubai, and I don't believe anything intelligence in Uganda says, because Ugandan intelligence is like these guys who formed this website, investigator.com, who say that NTV was paid.
They rely on rumors.
So, you know, by the way, I should tell you, Boris, another thing you should know, that we are very Ugandan. You see, the people, whenever I go to the ministries, all government ministries and departments, I find people studied with at Imbarara High, at Nyakasura, at Makerere University, at Musoka College of Mwiri. People have lived with in different parts of Uganda. So that really the people who run Uganda, the Kazindas and all these Christopher are our friends, classmates, in-laws, ex-girlfriends, boyfriends, whatever it is. So this Museveni government reflects the character of Uganda. It does not reflect the character of the NRM.
Interesting. Let's look at something that might creep up in the opposition. with the passing of Njuba, we did see the appointment of Joyce Sebugwawo as chair of the FDC party. We've seen rifts internally within the FDC from the time Betty Kamya left the party. Do you foresee a scenario where 2014, the Muntu, the team that is pro-Muntu and that is anti-Muntu will actually break out and form their own party?
I forgot actually.
Under flagship of Mandala Mafabi, maybe?
Good question. Yeah. As we go to the opposition, I think that Muntu is going to lose the battle to Mandala Mafabi.
Why?
Muntu is a gentleman. He will not go into the mud and fold his sleeves and throw mud at people. No. And I think that behavior is best in the church. But even in the church, you need dirty work. And Nandala Mafabi is the kind of guy who will do all the dirty things, who can crook to get his way. So, in the battle between Nandala and Muntu, I really see no chance that Muntu can win. The enlightened forces in FDC will be defeated. And when they're defeated, either they will go and join NRM, rejoin NRM, or they will go silent, or they will become a marginal inconvenience within the party. But the radical faction of intolerance will take over the opposition. And that is the weakening of the opposition. First of all, remember that if you compare Nandala Mafabi and the men of the people in the government in terms of their moral standing,
yes,
whether on matters of propriety, yes, financial probity, yes, when he was chairman of the Public Accounts Committee,
he knows all this. Yes.
I mean, but he was involved in all the buccaneering. Anyway, so you will have Masho Mobutu Sese Seko replacing Masho Mobutu Sese Seko with power. We are a change of guard, but not a change in the values. Because you see, ultimately, what is going to happen in 2014 in the opposition is the defeat of the moderate wing of the FDC and its disbandment, and the emergence of Mafabi and his extremist politics of false accusations, of innuendos, of radicalism taking control. And once it takes control, we are likely to see people like Ronald Reagan Okumu, Maurice Ogenga Latigo, people like Abdul Katuntu, Salam Musumba. All these people may join NRM, may form a third party which may become irrelevant, or they may go quiet completely. That's where likely to be. At least 2014 will be the building blocks of the political contest that is going to take place in 2015.
All right.
This is the year that is going to shape the race for 2016.
Well, you heard him, and that's what he thinks about 2014.
Can I wish all of you people, yes, out there, my lovers and my haters and the neutrals, a happy and prosperous 2014.
You didn't say that yesterday on the day we should have said it. Okay.
You normally say it on the second day.
Yeah, all right. Then they will be asking for presents for Christmas that you didn't send them. All right, again.
Okay, all the pretty young ladies, I'm willing to give you all the kisses you want.
That was Newsnight, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for watching.